Good morning, Year 6. It's Mr. Sinnott here. I'm looking forward to teaching you via Seesaw for the next few lessons. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of September. That's the 23rd of the 9th, 20. XXIII, IX, XX in Roman numerals. That's 23, 9, 20. Your learning challenge for this morning is, can I use inverse operations, brackets, addition and subtraction? Addition and subtraction can be used for the inverse, but also you can use multiplication and division. So that's why we're staying focused on what we've been working on this week in class, which is addition and subtraction. So let's get started. I have a bit of prior learning for you to get started, so get yourselves ready. Some questions on addition and subtraction here, nice and gentle to start. What I'd like you to do is just pause the video for a moment and you can jot those down and some answers. I'm going to move to the answers and you can pause them when you need them as well. Okay, let's make some good progress today. With addition and subtraction, bar models really help us. We've looked at bar models throughout school and we've been using them in Year 6 over the past few weeks as well. We have a calculation here which is 3,612 plus 123 equals 3,735, and that's fine when you've got the answer and the calculation in front of you. But what you may find is you get questions where you have a missing box. One of these numbers might be missing and you've got to do some detective work, perhaps using the inverse operation to actually find it. So there's our part. That is part of our bar model, 3,612. Here's another part, 123, which leaves one more part of our bar model. But we don't call this the part, we call it the whole. So our whole, which is our total, is 3,735 with two parts, 3,612 and 123. Those two parts together make the whole. So some calculations that we could do with it are 3,612 plus 123 is 3,735. That's our original calculation. But some other calculations could be 123 plus 3,612 equals 3,735. So we've just swapped the numbers around there. We still get the same answer. Doesn't quite work the same for subtraction though. So we've got 3,735 minus 123 gives us 3,612, or 3,735 minus 3,612 gives us, I wonder if you can perhaps guess the number that it's going to be. It's 123. So in the top two examples, a part plus a part equals a whole. In the bottom two examples, the whole minus one of the parts equals another part. So think of addition and subtraction in terms of parts and wholes using a bar model. There's nothing stopping you from using a bar model, as long as you keep it neat and tidy and you can understand exactly what's going on there. So Alex wants to check this addition calculation. She says 297 plus 341 equals 638. So the question is, which subtraction calculations can be used to check Alex's addition calculation? So this is where we can use the inverse. We have 638 minus 341, 297 minus 341. And straight away, something about that should seem a bit odd. 341 minus 638. There's another one. That might seem a bit strange to you. The past two answers, would you end up with a negative number maybe? And finally, 638 minus 297. So which ones could she use to check her answer? Have a think. Pause the video and then carry on. Okay, let's continue. We have two parts, 297 and 341. We have our whole, 638. Part and a part makes a whole. There's our bar model. 297 on the left, 341 on the right. 638 on top as our whole. So which ones could she use? 638 minus 341. That's one that she could use, because if she subtracted 341 from 638, she'd be left with 297. Now 297 minus 341. Well, if she subtracted a part from a part, she's not going to end up with the whole, is she? What about 341 minus 638? Well, if she subtracted the part and took away the whole from that, she's going to end up with a negative number as well. And finally, 638, which is our whole, if she subtracted the part from it, then she would end up with another part. So there's the two answers there circled, because if she had, starting with the top left calculation, subtraction, 638 is our whole. If she subtracted a part away from it, 341, she'd be left with another part, 297. In the bottom right, 638 is our whole. If she subtracted the other part away from it, 297, what should she be left with? Hopefully your answer was 341. Now, this young man's thinking of a number, and he says, when I add 920 to it, I get 3,921. What is my number? So, again, think of this question in terms of a bar model. He's thinking of a number. When 920 is added to it, he gets 3,921. So we have to do some detective work using a bar model. It would look like this. There's our whole. He's thinking of a number. That's going to be one of our parts, because when he adds 920 to it, he gets that whole. So, question mark, what is that number? One of the other clues we've got is 920. So that would be our other part. So you might start to think now about ways to find this missing part. I'm thinking of a number. When I add 920 to it, I get 3,921. What is my number? Pause the video for a moment just to think about the calculation that you might need to do to work this one out. So something plus 920 equals 3,921. What if we use subtraction? We use the inverse, subtraction being the inverse of addition. So if we take our whole, 3,921, and subtract one of those parts away from it, 920, we should be left with the missing part. 1 minus 0, 1, 2 minus 2, 0, 9 minus 9, 0, 3 minus 0, 3. Gives us our answer, or missing part, 3,001, and we've used the inverse. Now have a go at the questions on your worksheet. It's uploaded on Seesaw, but it's also in your pack. It's titled Inverse Operations, Addition and Subtraction. You're looking out for Ron's Problems, question 1. Thank you. Goodbye.